Hey everyone and welcome back to my DIY adventures. My name is Olga if you're new here. For today's video I'm going to share with you a combination of top vases and planter pot that I made so far on my channel. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and which of them you saw the first time. I will link the original video in the description box below and in the right upper corner for each vase. I really hope you will enjoy today's video, so let's jump right into our first vase. I took $3 small vase and glued a roll from the tape to the bottom. Then I took Sisal rope and glued it to the roll. Next, I measure cut and glued Sisal rope on half of the vase while gluing each row separately. At this point you can leave it as is, but I continued. Additionally, I glued the Sisal rope inside the roll. And the project is done. In my opinion, this vase turned out very cute and unique. And we are moving to the next one. For this project I used planter pot from $3 and macrame cords in white and black colors. First I took a tape and divided the pot into 4 equal parts. Next I took black macrame cord and glued it to the pot in trapezoid shape. Also on top I made decorative handles. I left a small triangle in the middle, but you can fill it till the end. Next, I removed the tape and glued white macrame cord, as you can see in the video. Additionally, I glued white cord on top. Then I covered the triangle with white cord, made tassels, and glued them to the triangle. And this is how my planter pot turned out. Let me know what do you think about this planter pot. And we are moving to our third vase. For this vase I took $3 vase and used ropes from drawstring bags. I covered 2/3 of the vase with these ropes. The rest of the vase I covered with paper rope. To add even more texture, I used braided paper rope from $3 and glued it on the bottom, on the sides, on the top and inside the vase, as you can see. And this is how my boho style vase turned out. And let's move to our next vase. To make this vase, I first made 10 round pieces from jute rope by gluing it all the way around until I got 5.5 centimeters diameter for each of them. Also, I used $3 small vase, as you can see I already used it previously, and I glued 5 circles to the bottom part of the vase. Then I took the same rope and covered the vase above the circles while cutting the ropes each time. To clean the vase from mirror spray, I used polish remover. And then other 5 pieces I glued where I had the connection between the ropes. Also, I covered the bottom part the same way, as you can see. To give the vase even more interesting look, I glued 3 braided paper ropes from $3. And we're done with this project. I personally really love how it turned out. Let me know your thoughts. And we are moving to our vase number 5. For this project you would need jar. I was lucky to have jar with lines, so it was easier for me to make the pattern, but if you don't have lines, try to eyeball it. So I made kind of petals and gluing them in the middle of the jar. When you are gluing the reed, try to use as less glue as possible, so it will be seen less. And continue with the same pattern until you get to the start point. Next, I glue the reed on top of the petals, as you can see, and at the bottom. Also, at the first I decided to add one more strip of the reed at the top, however I will cover all the top later on. Next, I covered the neck of the jar with the reed line by line. At this point you can leave the pattern as is, but I decided to add petals on top of each 2 petals, as you can see. Then I cover with the reed all the bottom part. On top part of the jar I decided to add 3 strips of the reed, but I will remove them later on. To cover the stitches, I glued a small piece of reed and made it thinner. Also, the vase looked too small for me, so I decided to add a roll from a tape and cover it with the reed. Now you can leave it as it is, but I didn't like how the lines on the upper part of the jar looks like, so I decided to remove the strips that I added and cover everything with the reed. At the end, on the top and at the bottom, I covered the stitches with pieces of reed and made them thinner, and the project is done, and I think it turned out really good looking. You can use it as a lantern or as a vase. You can even add handles to it if you like. And we're moving to the next one. I'm using $3 vase. First I painted it black with Rust-Oleum Ultra Matte black paint. Then I took jute twine and cut 10 pieces 36 cm each. Next I folded each piece in half and made a knot. Each knot I glued to the corner of the rhombus pattern at the bottom of the vase. I followed the vase pattern and made knots from 2 ropes that were next to each other and glued the knots to the corners of each rhombus. At the top of the vase, I connected between 2 ropes that were next to each other, glued the connection and cut the axes. And this is how my pineapple vase turned out. Now let's move to our next one. For this vase I used air dry clay. I took a little bit more than a half of this package and rolled it out on silicone placement. I measured the vase from $3 with jute twine and checked if the clay will be enough to cover the vase. Then I cut the clay, wrapped it around the vase and removed the axis. To connect the edges, I pressed on it and used water. Water helps me to connect the edges and smooth the imperfections that I have as much as possible. Then I took another piece of clay, rolled it out to the size that will cover 1/3 of the vase. Then I cut it and attached the clay so that the previous connection will be covered. I added this part to give the vase some dimension. And our next step for this vase is to create the face. as the eye that was half covered sticked out under the clay and it didn't look good like that, I removed part of it. Then I left the vase to dry, and after it dried I sanded it. I painted this vase with 3 different colors, so you can see which one you like the most. For the white vase I used only linen white chalk paint, and for the black and grey I mixed the colors with baking soda. And this is how gorgeous this vase turned out. And we are moving to vase number 8. To create this vase, I used maple syrup plastic jar. So I removed the label and cut the upper part. Then I took coastal blue paint and mixed it with baking soda until I got the consistency and painted the vase by tapping motion. And voila, that's it! And this is how simple it was to create this vase, and I think it looks very beautiful. And we are moving to vase number 9. For this project I used big glass jar and raffia paper ribbon. I glued raffia paper strips to the bottom part of the jar. The length of the ribbon should be a little bit longer than the jar. Additionally, at the bottom I glued 3 raffia strips. Then I glued the strips to the upper part of the jar and inside the jar. Next, I took cork ribbon and glued it from the inside and outside of the upper part. Also, I weaved 2 raffia strips at the bottom part, at the middle and at the top. And we're done with this vase as well. And I think this project is also easy and beautiful. And we are moving to our last vase, number 10. I had this vase for a while and the color does not fit my interior, so we are going to make a marble vase from it. I took linen white chalked paint and gave it 2 coats of paint by using tapping motion. Then I took black chalk pen from Dollar Tree and drew lines like cracks. Next, I went over with my finger and smeared the line slightly. Then, on top of the blended part, I went with linen white paint to clean where needed. I sprayed the vase with clear glass spray to give it a shiny look. And this is how my marble vase turned out. I really love how it turned out and it was very easy to make. And that is all, you guys, for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this combination. All the vases turned out very beautiful and high-end looking, in my opinion. I really want to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and which of them you haven't seen previously. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to my channel. Also check out other videos on my channel. I'm sure you will find there more inspirational projects that you will enjoy to watch. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video, and I will see you very soon in our next DIY adventure. Bye, guys!